What's the hardest pill to swallow? You are also toxic sometimes, not just other people. And if you're constantly calling other people toxic, there's a really good chance you're more toxic than the average person. I notice it usually goes one of two ways: either they're super toxic and project onto everyone else, or they have super low self-esteem and toxic people are attracted to them like flies on shit. Sometimes a little of both. I had a friend who thought that me telling other people to duck off when necessary was like some kind of voodoo. This person rarely stood up for themselves and often complained about people taking advantage. Very nice person, but with very little backbone. I bought her us a picture at a bar when some asshole, who immediately on first sight rubbed me the wrong way and who they had complained about to me, but who I had never met, came up to say hi and then proceeded to try and pour themselves a pint from our picture. Nipped that in the bud and loudly. Arsehole got loudly annoyed in return about it, but I knew the people who ran the bar and got him kicked out. My friend acted like this was me winning the Olympic decathlon. They always complained about people taking advantage, but they let them. You probably taught them an important lesson that day. Nice work being a positive role model. Someone can get to know you well and still not like you. This is a bitter pill to swallow. Can't win them all. It took a long time for me to understand that it's okay if someone doesn't like me. Remain courteous and continue on with my life, surrounded by people who do. That's why you don't chew pills. Cause they're bitter. Being depressed is not an excuse to act like a dickhead. Can confirm. There was a girl in my class a few years ago who was a total asshole, and whenever you called her out on it, she'd say, "Oh, I have depression and anxiety," and fake cries until you give her sympathy, which I never did, making her even angrier. I made the mistake of telling a close friend, no longer, of mine that sometimes anxiety can present itself with bouts of irritability, and that became her go-to. "Bitch, I wasn't telling you that so you could use it as an excuse. I said it so you could be self-aware about it and work on it." Every once in a while she would break down cause she feels like a horrible mom for yelling at her kids and a horrible person in general. I threw a BoJack Horseman quote at her: "You can't just keep doing shitty things and feeling bad about yourself like that makes it okay. You need to be better." She of course did not like that take, and our friendship died cause I was sick of her shit and she was tired of me calling her on it. Not a friendship worth keeping anyways. Genuinely bad people can be more likable than you, especially if they are cuter than you. That doesn't narrow it down at all. You/Grand Elemental, I find you extremely cute. That's wholesome. These damn horse pills I keep getting prescribed. She doesn't love you. Even harder. In my experience, she used to love you, but she doesn't anymore. Even harder sometimes. People get tired of being the only person loving you. That's including yourself. I'm feeling this actually. It's a hard pill to swallow when a lazy, incompetent coworker gets promoted at work and you're left behind, even though your work is exemplary and you're doing your best to move ahead. As someone who has held various jobs for 30+ years, including supervisory, I suggest taking a hard look for the following one. If the promotion truly is inappropriate, politics, favorites, etc., it might be time to take your talents elsewhere, or at least be looking around for when the job market improves. 2. However, I have seen situations where one person works hard and has a strong mastery of the technical aspects of a job, and yet misses the mark on one or multiple soft skills: teamwork, positivity, customer service. This stuff matters, especially when it's time to lead. If someone like me can build these skills, anyone can. If you suspect this is a need, talk to your best role model, set goals with them, and ask for mentoring advice. 3. Some employers have clear policies related to qualification, such as level of education, certifications, etc. In many point-based systems of employment, it can tip the scales. Look ahead at where you want to be in 5 years. Invest in yourself. Pick up the certifications or the degree you need. Make sure your employer knows when you've attained them. Number 2 is the big one: competency in a task is not an entitlement for a promotion. I used to work in it. Typically the best people had the worst people skills. More interested in stroking their ego than building up their peers. Anyone who was good at foster a good team environment quickly got promoted and then immediately left for a company with higher pay. Tech people also tend to view any non-technical work as pointless and a waste of time. So sure, John is a shitty Java programmer and he only contributed 3 lines of code, but he provided meaningful status updates from the team, gave accurate hour estimates, and when management reads his reports they understand what it says and don't stare at it saying I don't understand any of this tech jargon. Soft skills can be big. At my workplace, we have a guy that as far as qualifications go, should probably be in the lab all day, but he's a people person and a hobby machinist. We use him as a sort of translator / connecting piece to the fab shop. He speaks biology. He speaks machining. And the weird bearded oily people do not murder him. A+ asset. That to someone in the world you are the villain in their story. You can't change their mind about it. You can't try to explain their experience to them because you aren't in their shoes. You could have done something totally normal to you that was horror to them and you can't change their mind, nor should you try. It's just something you have to live with. This is an undervalued comment. It's not that you are necessarily someone's arch nemesis, but just that you have been the bad guy in someone's life at some point or another. Even if you think you did nothing wrong. Remembering this helps me remember that other people are real and have feelings. Otherwise I tend to act like everyone else is a soulless drone. It even might be small things. What comes to mind for me is how often I'm pissed at other drivers, but never think how I must piss off people when I'm driving sometimes. I'm the villain to their story, just as much as they are to mine. Things like that help me to be more open to others' ideas, issues, etc. Exactly. There are probably enough podcasts. As someone who doesn't like podcasts all that much and has no intention of starting one, this was an extraordinarily easy pill to swallow. The Beats pill. The secret is chewing. What about a chaser? My child's autism diagnosis and the months prior, when we noticed that he was off. It's okay now, but back when you have these dreams of a normal family, it's like living in a nightmare that you never wake up from. Luckily, he's a wonderful kid, autism or not. I have lots of autistic family members. It can be better than normal, honestly. Hopefully you're able to make the best of it, even if it's hard at times. It's mostly my fears that he will have more loneliness than any person deserves. He's the best kid I could have asked for, sharp as a tack, but it hurts to see others look at him like he's not fully human. My sister grew out of many of the antisocial tendencies as she got older, 12 to 16, and that seems to be a trend. I'll also say the growth of online communities really helps connect people to other like-minded people through interest groups. Games groups and hobby groups online can really help find a place and have people to talk to. Not trying to give advice at you or anything, but my biggest recommendation is find out what they are interested in and lean into it hard. Learn everything you can. Go to meetups. Get into it yourself. Buy the supplies, learn the jargon. That road, in my extremely limited experience, leads to lasting friendships and fulfilling hobbies. From what I've seen, communities like that are accepting and nice. That's my 2 cents. You should live your life how you think is best though. I appreciate it a lot. Actually, that's amazing advice. Especially from somebody with experience. He definitely has strong interests that we try to nurture. He's decided that he wants to be a diver. He's been obsessed with marine life since practically birth. So we are moving to Miami, where we are coincidentally from, to take him to the beach as often as possible and be close to family. He also loves games, and I'm hoping to take him to conventions as he grows. Today was his first day in kindergarten and the teacher said he had an awesome time, while I was at home nauseous with fear for how he'd do. I think it's me and my anxiety who's the problem, not anything with him. Lol. Sometimes I just get a sudden hit on the head with "Are you doing enough?" or "Are you going to fail him?" Some people have rough childhoods and a really lousy backstory, but a lot of the misery in your life right now is the result of your own poor decisions and you're the one who has to do something to fix it. Some people have rough childhoods and a really lousy backstory, But a lot of the misery in your life right now is the result of your own poor decisions and you're the one who has to do something to fix it. Ducking this. I see so many people make terrible decisions and rationalize it by saying I had a rough childhood or something to that effect. You're gonna have a rough adulthood if you don't take it upon yourself to break the cycle of BS you experienced in childhood. You are not special. This is an important and beneficial one though. Your life is so much better when you realize people aren't scrutinizing you constantly. You're not especially dumb or unskilled. You're more or less just like everyone else. Incredibly comforting if you let it be. Life doesn't always work out in the end, but it kinda does, because nothing is permanent. No one owes you anything. You are not granted love and happiness. Mike do owe me $20. And his parents owe him the normal spelling of his name, but neither of you getting what you want. Swallow that. /s. A jagged little one. Easy there Alanis. You could do better. Better swallow it ASAP, because you can always do better. The sooner you realize it, the sooner you can improve. I'm not stupid, but the root cause of almost every problem I've had was created by me due to bad impulse control. I'm working on it, but there's a reason I'm on Reddit right now. Deleted. A lot of your problems are your own fault, and even the ones that aren't anyone else's fault. Sometimes, even if it's no one's fault, you're still the only person that can do anything about it. When I was a kid, my grandma always made us take these gigantic vitamin C pills every day and wash them down with regular ass V8 juice from a can. Anyway, that pill was ridiculous, and even after I broke them in half it was still hard to swallow. V8 juice. Sounds like what you put in the fuel tank to make your Mustang go fast. It tasted like it should have gone into a car instead of into a human. This was the 80s, before we had Kiwi Blend Super Berry V8 drink, or whatever the hell kids are drinking nowadays. My mom drinks those, and she loves them. The right person at the wrong time is the wrong person. Agreed. If you have no friends, you're a good chunk of the problem. Ouch. That one hurt. You won't win her/him/them back. They ended things for a reason. And if they didn't give you the chance to change something before the breakup, then there's nothing you can do to change their mind. This isn't always true. My girlfriend broke up with me because we both ducked some things up. 2 months after that, we were back together again, and we are still going stronger than ever after 4 months. Nobody likes the depressed, nobody likes me, or all I want is men, women, and other alike. Like, I understand having bad mental health. I've been there, but it's one thing to have poor self-images and working on yourself despite that, and another to always complain hoping someone will magically fix you. No one can do that but yourself. 90% of me / __ is this, it seems. Potassium. I don't know the hardest pill, but I can definitely tell you about an easy pill to swallow. Methylphenidate pills, or at least the ones I use, are so freaking easy to swallow that you won't even need water to do it. Trypsin is the easiest. It even tastes sweet. What's trypsin for? Anti-inflammatory, usually given for edema. Normally you're prescribed them after major surgery, especially in orthopedics. I've also seen it given for animal bites, dogs specifically. Thanks for the information, D. Those little tiny ones. You put them on your tongue and take a sip of water. They're so light they float around, and right before you swallow they stick to spot in your mouth somewhere, usually part of your tongue. How the hell? Put the water in your mouth first, then throw the pill in. That's what I do for all my pills. Makes them way easier to swallow regardless of size. If you are unhappy about your fitness, barring physical disability, you are the only one who can adjust your eating habits and increase your exercise to improve yourself. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.